Greetings, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of what I am now referring to as TOBS. Now, you may be asking yourself, why does that sound so ridiculous? And what does TOBS mean? Well, there's nothing I could do about it sounding ridiculous, but TOBS is an acronym for Truth, Opinion, Bullshit. So, the meaning is quite literal. This is where I'll be coming to give my 2 cents on certain topics, current topics in the world of video games. So whether it's me literally giving the truth about a matter, whether it's me defending one of my opinions, or whether I'm just being an asshole about something, it will be this series where I'll just come in to rant and rave or do whatever, just discuss things. And if you haven't seen it, my first episode was that of my rant on the Dead Island Riptide Zombie Bait Edition, so if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description of the video, or I'll put an annotation on here somewhere, so you can go check that out if you wish to. So now let's get into today's topic, which is the recently released reboot of Tomb Raider. Now we all know Tomb Raider was a series that began back in the 90s featuring the character Lara Croft. Now, before I get into my problems with the new game, I'm going to go ahead and be fair about it. No, I did not pre-order it. No, I still do not have it, but I am going to make it a point to play the game, no matter how hard it may be for me to accept the new Lara. And that's the point I'm going to make today. But I reiterate, I do plan on playing this game no matter what. It does look like a great game at its core, and, I have no doubt in my mind that it's probably fun as hell. And, of course, I'm probably going to want to play the sequel, and to do that, I'm going to make myself play the first anyway. But I've had doubts about the new Lara Croft for a long time now. I mean, ever since they revealed this game, and the first footage from it. And, the biggest problem I have is that this Lara basically, she does become a badass, but she does it out of necessity. She has to. She's thrust into a situation where she has no other choice but to either buck up or die, essentially. Now, the old Lara, she was right into things from the start. I mean, in Tomb Raider Last Revelation, we learned that she was trained at 16 years old, and probably started out a bit younger than that. But as I said, in this new one, she's forced into the situation where if she doesn't, get some guts, then she's gonna die. That wasn't the case with the old Lara Croft. Now, was there survival in the old Tomb Raider games? I mean, of course there was. I mean, she got herself into situations all the time where she had to fight for her life. Whether it was another person, or a dinosaur, or some ancient trap, yeah, she had to fight for her life all the time. But the thing is, she got into those situations herself. She knew there were dangers, even though there were surprises along the way, but she did it nonetheless because she was self-confident, she was damn right cocky. And that's why she appealed to me more, is because she was a lot stronger. She was a lot more confident as a character. And this new one of the quotes that made me the most angry is when she's sitting there with another character and he's trying to, convince her, not really convince her, but trying to push her along. And she sits there and she says, "I don't think I'm that kind of Croft." Something along those lines. And that kind of angered me in a way, because the old Lara, I don't remember her having any doubts like that. She didn't sit there and have any kind of little pity parties and boo-hoo. And like I said, she was trained into it. She was a badass from the start. Now, I have no doubts that this one comes out to be a badass eventually. But the way she starts out having so many doubts and complaining and fears and worries, it's gonna be kind of hard to ignore or, feel any sympathy for her when I think of the old Lara Croft. And it's really going to be hard not to compare her to the old Lara Croft, but hopefully once I'm actually playing the game, I'm a lot more invested in it to the point where I won't think about it as much, hopefully. But that's how I feel about the new Lara Croft character. I feel she could have been a lot more confident from the start, like the old Lara Croft was. A badass in every respect, in my opinion. But moving away from the character a little bit, let's talk about the actual title. Tomb Raider. Now, from what I've seen so far, I'm not very excited about how they handled that. I mean, the title from the beginning, was quite literal. You raided tombs. And from what I understand, of course, in this one, you also raid tombs and you search for things. But my question is, are they actually significant to the plot at all? From what I understand, mostly not. Mostly they're just collectibles that you can obtain and not really vital to the story. Whereas in the old games, most of the relics and artifacts you find are some kind of focal point of the actual game. They had importance behind them, and so did the tombs. They weren't just something, I guess I'll go do that. No, they basically were the game. So I didn't really see that in this game from what I've seen so far. So hopefully it turns out to be a lot better than I expect. Like I said, it's still a lot of fun, but it's just going to be hard to not compare the old and the new so much. But I can't help it. I grew up playing Tomb Raider. I played it to death on PlayStation and PC. I still have my original copy of it for PC, Tomb Raider Gold, and I also bought the digital version of it on Steam because reasons. So I hope in the next game there's more of a focus on actual tomb raiding, back to the basics where relics meant something and maybe you're fighting someone over them. Something other than just the point is to survive and get off the island. Anyways, those are my opinions on it. I know they're not exactly popular, but I know there are some people who are in the same boat as me. However, even if you're not, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. If not, oh well. And if you haven't even played the old games, please look past the graphics, look past the controls. You'll get used to them, trust me. Give the old games a shot if you haven't before. You can get the whole collection on Steam now. So again, I urge you, if you haven't tried them out and you can look past the graphics and controls for a good experience, for a great game, go check them out and give them a shot.